Imagine you're cruising at 35,000 feet. The engines hum, the wings slice through the sky, and it all feels so smooth, like you're untouchable. But let's get real. The air is constantly, relentlessly, trying to stop you. Every single second, and it does this with a weapon called drag. Not just one flavor, mind you. It's a whole squad of invisible enemies, each waiting for their moment to hold you back. Today I'm breaking down the main culprits: induced drag, parasitic drag, and a few sneaky types you rarely hear about. By the end, you'll see why planes can never truly escape drag. They just pick their poison for every flight. So, what is drag, really? Forget the maths for now. Drag is simply the cost of pushing air out of the way. Air might look empty, but it's got mass, pressure, and even stickiness. Move an aircraft forward, and you're forcing air to get out of the way, to swirl, to shear, and it fights back in different ways, depending on your speed and how much lift you need. First up, induced drag. This one's the most misunderstood. It only exists because you're making lift, no induced drag. But the moment your wing starts working, air starts leaking around the tips. From high pressure below to low pressure above, whipping up those classic wingtip vortices. These tilt your lift backwards, turning some lift into drag. Fly slow and you need more lift, so you crank up the angle of attack and those vortices get wild. That's why takeoffs, climbs, and tight turns are draggy affairs. Gliders fight back with long, skinny wings and clever winglets to tame those vortices. Now let's talk parasitic drag. This is the cost of speed. Even a brick has it. Parasitic drag isn't picky, it just hates you going fast. Double your speed and you quadruple your parasitic drag. It splits into three sneaky types: form drag, caused by blunt shapes and big wakes; skin friction, air sticking and rubbing against the surface; and interference drag, where airflow gets chaotic at junctions like wing roots or engine pylons. Engineers go mad over smoothing surfaces, cleaning up shapes and blending junctions just to shave off a bit more parasitic drag. Here's the magic trade-off. As you speed up, induced drag drops, but parasitic drag soars. Plot both on a graph, and you get a U-shaped curve. The sweet spot at the bottom, that's your minimum drag speed. Best for gliding, best for endurance, just right for cruising. But the story doesn't end there. There's wave drag when you flirt with the sound barrier. Shock waves and pressure spikes make life miserable near Mach 1. There's profile drag, tied to the airfoil shape, and trim drag, when keeping steady flight means deflecting control surfaces, costing you more fuel. And don't forget, cooling drag. Engines need airflow, airflow needs holes, and holes mean even more drag. So why does all this matter? Drag shapes everything. How fast you climb, how long you cruise, how far you go, and how much you pay. Aircraft aren't built to beat drag, just to negotiate with it. Here's the big truth. There's no escaping drag, only choosing which drag to live with. Go slow and induced drag punishes you. Go fast and parasitic drag empties your tank. Every plane is a compromise, every flight a negotiation. And that invisible enemy, it's always outside, waiting to push back.